All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Royal Master Talk. I'm your host, Royal Master Funsho Timothy. Infidelity. Infidelity is more common now. Not here in the diaspora, but almost everywhere in the world. Husbands don't trust wives. Wives don't trust husbands. And some even went as far as putting devices on their wives or husband's phone, laptop, and computer just to find out who they're messing with. As a matter of fact, some even solicit their kids to do this crazy stuff. The question is, when you find out this problem, can you handle the truth? Can you handle the pressure or the depression that comes along with it? The craziest part of infidelity is that most men now go out there and have babies with some other woman, and of course, some of these ladies also bring somebody else's baby to their husbands. What can we do about infidelity? How can we stop it? And what are the consequences of it? So this morning I have three wonderful host guests with me that we're going to talk about this, and I also have a new uh, guest here that I'm going to talk about. Her name is Mrs. Doni Idowu from Canada, from Canadian land. Mrs. Idowu, welcome to our program.
Thank you.
And of course, I have me Olori Abidoye from here in the state of Maryland. Olori Abidoye, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Kabesi.
And as usual, Mr. Manuel Ade from the state of New York. Olori Abidore, we're gonna go with you as usual. You know how we roll here, okay? So now, infidelity. What do you think are the real causes of infidelity in marriages?
Infidelity depends on what couples can say about infidelity. Infidelity have many causes. Like I told you, I try to research this topic because it's very broad, you know. So infidelity, many things causes infidelity. One, lack of affection. If there's a lack of affection in marriage, it can cause infidelity. If there's lots of fondness, love, and care for each other, it can cause infidelity. Weak commitment to a relationship can cause infidelity. Breakdown of communication about emotional and relationship can cause infidelity. Low self-esteem can cause infidelity. Physical issues like health problems can cause infidelity. Mental issues like depression and anxiety can affect a relationship and infidelity will come in. Financial problems can cause infidelity. Major life changes like becoming parents can also lead to infidelity. Stressful periods, such as when spouses are apart for a long time, can cause infidelity. And I hope some of my groups in the panel can really emphasize more on some of the things they feel that are really can cause infidelity in relationships.
All right, thank you, Olori Abidoye. You pretty much mentioned everything that can lead to this problem, but we're gonna tackle one of this problem at one at a time. Mrs. Doe, you've heard Olori Abidoye talk about things that causes infidelity. I think I got one of them was lack of affection from either party, from either the man or the woman. Now, how do you see about that? Does lack of affection now makes a woman or man go out of their home and start having that affair?
Thank you very much, sir. My sister has mentioned like practically almost everything that could cause infidelity. Like you said, lack of affection. Everyone needs affection. Like when you just start a relationship, maybe doing courtship, friendship, and then it starts to progress. You see a lot of people, they show affection, trying to win over their partners. And the qualities you see in a man or a woman before they get married are those things. You know what you want in a man, you know what you want in a woman. And then when you see those qualities you want, which affection is one of the most important ones, you tend to maybe fall in love and then you decide, okay, let's proceed and we get into marriage. And many people make a mistake of, okay, I'm married to this man, I'm married to this woman, they are married, they are going nowhere. I see them, they start to decrease their rate of affection for their spouses. And everybody, no matter how stone acted they are, when you show love, you show affection, they tend to lean towards those people. And a lot of, not only men, not only women, many men especially, they make that kind of mistake. Like it's believed that infidelity is common with men, right? So they believe, oh, because she's a woman, or my wife is godly, or my wife is morally sound, nothing like that can happen. And they tend to not pay attention, show affection to their spouses. And before you know it, you see someone out there, you know, they are showing affection, every little details, like even as little as, oh, you change your hairstyle as a woman, your husband comments, oh, this looks good, I love the dress you're wearing, caring for the person, in every way they can. And they don't do all those things. And you see someone else, the thing is, um, anyone that is involved in infidelity, right? Most times, the partner that is outside, that's the whoever they are cheating with, is aware that they have a competitor, right? For example, God forbid, if I'm cheating on my husband, I've never done that, I will never do it. So, whoever you're cheating with knows you have a husband, and vice versa. Okay, if they are both married. So they go all the way out to win over and show that they are better than whoever you have in your home. Okay, so you're not living with those people, you don't really know them, you are living with your wife, and it all boils down on being like you get complacent on your job, you can do the same in marriage. And before you know it, it goes into a lot of problem, a lot of issues that you did not anticipate.
Yeah,
So paying attention, showing affection is very important. If we do not, I mean, if a lot of people, most women, especially where we came from, we are built for like tough times, we go, I mean, our culture, it's all about men most times. Women are always on the receiving end. The way we are trained, the way we are brought up, we go through a lot of stress, you're not having enough attention from your husband. You try as much as possible to make it work anyhow. But when you come to this part of the world and you see a lot of marriages breaking down, people begin to interact with other people. They begin to learn other culture, and they are hearing their friends or their colleagues discussing about what's happening in their marriages, in their relationship. They are not experiencing such. They were not paying attention to what they were lacking before, right? But when they start to mix with people from different cultures and they see the way it's done, they
yeah,
tend to realize, oh, this is missing in my marriage.
yeah,
And God forbid anyone comes their way that will give them what they don't want. Before you know, they fall
yeah,
and it becomes a
yeah,
problem. And
yeah,
before you know, they are deeply into what they did not bargain for. So
yes.
um, that's what I can say. I can go on, but I don't want to
Now,
continue.
now,
Let's give
yes,
other
we
people.
want you to keep the thought for something, some other topic. Okay, I know this is a very broad topic, and although you even said that when she and I talked before we started this program that this is a very broad topic that we may not, even if you stay here for 3 4 hours, we may not get to that. We may not finish it up.
Yeah,
So, Mr. Ade, now
Yeah.
you
Yes,
met
sir.
you had Lord Abido, you mentioned a lot of things, a
Yes, yes,
plethora of
yes.
things that
Yeah.
can make men and women go out of the marriage. One of them
Yeah.
was changing in body structure. Like when you
Exactly.
get
They
married,
say
you married your wife. She was a well built, well cooked, nice lady, and then babies came, and then everything changes. So, do you think that when a woman changes or man changes in their physical appearance, does that affect them? Does that make them go out of their marriages and
they,
start having affairs?
they said it all. They said it all. What happened is that me, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a Ghanaian born. I'm
Okay.
a Yoruba. I'm a Yoruba, but I'm a Ghanaian born. You see, I studied something about Ghanaians and Nigerians, especially in my race, Yoruba race. You see, Yoruba women, Yoruba women, they have some a little problem. They have a little problem. My sister, Mrs. Idowu, if I offend you, please forgive me, because you're a Yoruba
Not
woman.
at all.
So what I would say is that when you see, I was born in the Ashanti. If you hear about the Ashanti race,
Mhm.
that was I was born in the a town. I don't know whether a city calling Kumasi. Yeah. So what happened is that we Yoruba people used to say, Kusarugbom Ghana, Kusarugbom Ghana. That means that there's not old lady in Ghana. The old ones and the young ones, they dress the same. In fact, if you don't take time, you think, when you see an old woman, you think that it's a young girl. So when Yoruba women, when they get married, you know, in fact, they don't care about things again. Maybe the way they used to dress when they were looking for husband, they used to be in fashion. The way they used to do fashion when they were single. So when they get married, they come down a little bit. Oh, I'm a mother now. Oh, I'm a wife now. They reduce it. So
I can see Olori Abidoye shaking her head about that. Okay, we'll get to you. Olori Abidoye, we'll get to you in a minute, okay?
you know
Mr.
you
Muniru,
keep
welcome to
on.
the program.
So Kabiyesi,
Okay, hello. Hey,
a
can you hear
woman,
me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Welcome to the
Okay,
program,
okay,
sir.
okay. Thank you. Good
a
morning, everyone.
woman have to, a woman have to keep on. Whether you get married, a woman have to keep on improving,
Mhm.
so that you be attractive to your partner all the
Yes,
time. You be
yes.
attractive to
Eh,
so that will not
yeah,
let your partner look
go up.
elsewhere. You understand me?
Uh,
So that.
Thank you, Mr. Ade, on that point. Let me just buttress that point a little bit. Okay, it's
Mm,
not the issue of a woman who has to change, we have to look attractive. The men also have to look good. Also, let's not
mhm,
fool ourselves. Just as the man has to, women also have to. We all have to
mhm,
do our part to make a marriage work.
mhm,
Although that we doing all right
Yeah.
now, when you and I discussed this issue before, that was last week when we were talking about it, and you mentioned something about, you know, because a lady that got fired from her job because she had an affair with an inmate. Okay, now the issue is now, Miss Olori Abidoye, eh, does physical attraction from other men makes really makes most women now to tend to gravitate towards some other man? Maybe because the husband is big Tommy guy, and then the guy is a big chest, six pack. Or does that make a difference in women making that kind of like crazy jump?
Well, like I will say, before any woman gets into a marriage, you dated that person. Why do you want to marry this person? Do you love this person, or you are looking at the way the person is built, or you just want to get married? In infidelity, like the way I say, a lot of things that like I said here causes it. But you, a woman, you married a man. I married a man. Because I loved him. Like I said, before any woman goes into a relationship, you have to weigh the pros and the cons. You don't want, oh, because somebody is pulling iron, they have a six pack, then now your husband does not have it. Physical appearance is not love. If you are being moved by physical appearance of how people look, then I don't know what to say. People might compliment you. I get to Each and every one of us gets zillions of compliments every day. Oh, you look good. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. Don't be carried away. Some of us are being carried away by all those stupid compliments that they get outside. It's not that your husband does not compliment you, but that person out there is out for something by giving you those kind of compliments. And when you start looking at it or thinking the person wants it, definitely some of us women will miss it, thinking that the world is revolving around that person, or because that person gives you compliments every minute and second of the day. It depends on the intention the person has. Men are very. I'm just sorry. Most men, let me say it, 97% of men, when they make up their mind to get a something from a woman, they will go all out. It is you, the woman, that will caution yourself. I give myself as an example, and my sister here, that is a nurse. We meet a lot of clients every day. We meet all kinds of people every day, even in our workplaces. What is it that you, as a woman, want from your husband? If you are lacking affection from your husband, always a room to open communication, because lack of communication brings is one of the things that causes infidelity. Maybe when you married your husband newly, he sees everything in you, he does everything in you, he loves you, he compliments you. But all of a sudden, I'm gonna tell you, some of us we start taking those things for granted. And when you start taking some of those things for granted, an African man be an African man. That ego will come in. He says that it's like I'm giving this woman too much attention. And it start getting into her head. And when those things happen and the man retreats, you're not getting it anymore. You start feeling insecure. It's not that the man does not love you, but it's like you're taking his feelings for granted. And when he retreats and say, "Oh, let me just see," then any little thing that somebody does for you out there will get into your head. I was
Yeah.
getting this from my husband before, and I'm not getting it again. Let
Yeah.
me go try it. On the same thing is men. Men, they believe that variety is the spice of life. I want to test okra today. I want to eat a pussy tomorrow. I'm sorry to be this vulgar. Somebody was telling me one day, I got so mad with me, say all hole na hole. I said, shut the F up. All hole is not whole. All holes are not the same. It depends on how you do your own. A lot of things keep our men to us. We women, some of us, we pretend. When you married your husband, when you were doing boyfriend and girlfriend, you do the wild thing any way you want it with him, just to get the man to you. Now, when the man marries you, he still wants you that same way when you are doing boyfriend and girlfriend. You now know that you are married. Don't you see
Yeah.
that that man will go out? Okay, since I don't have it the way he does. When we are doing boyfriend and girlfriend, let me go out and see if I can still get that
Yes.
feelings out there.
Mm, yeah.
So a lot
Yeah.
of things happen in relationship that causes infidelity,
Yeah.
and we will try as much as we can to make things work. An African man is an African man. Sometimes you behave. Most men, they will say, "Oh, this one is wild," you know.
Mm,
Some are
yeah.
very conservative,
Yeah.
and you can't help it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, Olori, thank you very much on that topic. And you're very right on point about some of the things some of our women do to drive some of the men out of their homes. I'm going to go to Mr. Miniru. Mr. Miniru, welcome to
Yes,
this program.
yes.
Now, if what would you do as a man if your wife, you know, didn't allow you to make love to her for say a week, a month, maybe even years? What comes to your mind at that point? Should you go out of your marriage because your wife is not satisfying you anymore because she's depriving your husband needs, or what would be the options for you?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. But before this thing happened, or what was the cause? what's the cause behind. So you have to communicate. You have to ask her what is going on, and then this is keep going on. So if you don't have any idea, and then you just go, why unless you're gonna ask her to divorce or something like that. So it doesn't for me. It doesn't feel. It doesn't seem to be good. So the best thing is that to sit down, ask her point by point, what is the problem, and are you able to fix it? If she tells you that, oh, yeah, you don't do this, you don't do that, then okay, together, how can I fix it in order to restart a new, like a new, I'm gonna say it, you know. So it is that is a problem. If that's happening, something has happened before she take these actions. So you need to understand, figure out what was the cause for her to behave the way she's behaving. Without knowing that, there's no way you're gonna go and then say, okay, I'm gonna okay because she doesn't do this, I'm gonna go outside and then find something else. You never know. Maybe you're gonna go outside to find something else that will maybe worse than what you are thinking about. So it is
Yeah.
not for me. We have to figure out what's the problem, and then from there we can find
So
out what we can fix.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Muniro. I think Oluri Abido, you mentioned it earlier on about communication with your spouse. Whatever the problem is with the spouse, you can talk about it, and the more you talk about it, the more the problem disappears. Oluri, Mr. Do, yeah, that this notion out there, once a philanderer, always a philanderer. Okay, if you marry a philanderer, okay, I don't care if you give him all the styles, all the affection at home, he or she will still go out of a matrimonial home. Okay, I mean that's just human beings. They have the cultivate and a habit or a behavior that even when they get married can be changed. So now, does that justify the fact that somebody who is a philanderer at the beginning of your marriage or when you met him or her, does that justify her or him going out on marriage?
Okay, thank you. So, I'm not gonna go out of the question of asking, but before I go into that, there were some points raised, like from my daddy that said he was born in Ghana. Sorry, I can't really see the names very well. So, like Oloye Abidoye said, communication is very, very important. It's key. Like I'll take myself for an example right now. So I married my husband. I've always been slim, you know. So and saying physical attraction is very important. That is the first thing. You know what you want in a man. The physical attraction first, before you get to know the person, who they are, their character, whatever they like, if it's in line with what you like. You meet them first. So from physical, you go into other things, right? So now I'm slim and then I have one, two kids and I start naturally you gain some weight. But it now depends on the man and the woman to tell, hey, you're getting, not in a rude way. There's a way you communicate with people, like you're not being rude, you just pass the message across and they'll make amends. But when you keep quiet, you think you're too shy or you don't want to cause any harm, you don't want to hurt their feelings, you'll be doing more damage, than any good. And at the same time, another thing I want to address is I'm sure there's no one below 40 among anyone that is here, right? You're 40 and above. So where we came from, in our kind of generation, we are still in tune with our culture. There's so many other people that are getting married now. They're in their because they will come and watch this show later. They are in their 20s, in their 40s. I got married when I was 25, right? So times are changing. They are not used to our culture. They are not used to our tradition. And then some of them, many of them, we had them abroad, our children that are growing up, we had them abroad. They are not really used to our culture. And then we are expecting them, what we go through as their mothers, what we tolerated in marriages, they cannot tolerate half of it. So it's important that we begin to train our boys, to let them know, like, um, you don't expect that it's only your wife that has to look good for you. You have to look good for your wife and things like that. whether we like it or not. Like you said now, if you ask someone that is not used to being, that is not promiscuous, no matter what you do as a man or as a woman, they are not going to go out and start fornicating. They are determined. They have good moral values, and nothing will push them. Even if they decide, okay, this marriage is becoming detrimental to my health based on what is going on. You're prone to, so many, I don't know, there are some restrictions on YouTube. So, S transmitted diseases out there. Some are treatable, some are not treatable from someone jumping around. And you decide, you know what? I don't want to be a party to this. I don't want to have issues in my marriage. I don't want to have any problem with my health. And you decide, okay, I'm done. And you even decide, okay, I'm not going to go out. I'm just done. I don't want any issues. So the same way you as a person, no matter what, you never go out there to cheat on your spouse. The same way there are other people, no matter what you do, they are never gonna change. They are gonna be who they are. They will continue to cheat. You can never satisfy them. You can never please them. So what I'll say in that instance is just be yourself to get your sanity. Marriage is not a criteria to be happy in life. Marriage is not for everybody. So it's not a do or die affair. So many times when we bring religion, especially Christianity, into marriage, it's like, oh, God hates divorce. Yes, God hates divorce. But if your marriage begins, it's supposed to be for companionship. You're supposed to enjoy your marriage. If it becomes a burden and a source of sorrow, a source of stress, then it's time for, you know, there's no way, even if you're not married, you're just in a relationship and somebody continues to cheat, it's always going to make you unhappy. It's going to make you, like my sister mentioned, depression. It's not everybody that can withstand a spouse cheating, not being happy in their marriage, that will not be pushed out there. So many people is maybe the fear of God in them that holds them back and they decide, okay, I'm never going to cheat on my husband. But we should understand individual differences. Somebody like me, I don't ever judge anybody and I don't ever generalize. My personality is different from other people's personality.
Mm-hmm.
What I cannot, what I can withstand, I do not expect that because I can withstand those pressures, other people should do that. That is
Yeah.
why, as we have different faces, we are from different families, we have different DNAs, so our personality differs, and we cannot all do the same thing. But what we need to do is we should not be judgmental, right? I'm not saying we should encourage infidelity, but we need to understand where everybody is coming from, you know. For
Yeah.
example, myself and KBSC had a conversation, I think last week, and I was like, everybody, no matter how good I've been married now, it's gonna be 23 years this year, right? My husband is my best friend, but that notwithstanding, it's not that we've not gone through, it's never gonna be smooth.
Yes.
But when those tough time comes, who are your companion? Your family background also helps. Because if I have issues and okay, if I ever discuss with my siblings, they are all Christians. What they're gonna say is, oh, let's pray about this. I'm
Yes.
sure they're gonna counsel me in a godly way. But
Yes.
when other people, the friends they have, the family they have, you can't really blame them. Everybody, I mean, when you go through stress, when you go through pressure, the
Mm-hmm.
way we react is not going to be the same.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I pray. I
Yes.
mean, God will. I mean, it's very broad. I know you asked a question somehow. I've deviated. I'm just like
Yeah.
generalizing based on what everybody has said, right?
Yes. Yes.
So most likely somebody that is used to cheating, whether you go and bring heaven on earth to them, no
Mm.
matter what you do, be the most beautiful woman on earth, know how to do different whatever, from a willow to whatever, dance everything you can dance. They are
Yes.
still going to do whatever they want to do. So, and
Absolutely.
somebody that is not going to cheat, no matter what you do, they will not
Mm-hmm.
cheat. Instead, they will separate themselves from that toxic relationship. So,
Yes.
that's what I'll say. So,
No, thank you, Mr. Do. Because this topic is so broad, so I want these answers to be more brief so that we can go as many questions as we can. Because if we spend we spend too long on a question, then we won't have a lot to cover. All right, Mr. Ade, I'm gonna get to you. I mean, let me. This question is particularly for Olori because being a nurse, you probably seen a lot. Now, um, the issue with some of these people that have that stray out of the marriages got they stay away from their spouses too long. They work longer hours, 16 hours, sometimes 24 hours if they can. And of course, the longer you stay from your home, the more you're liable to get into something that's not appropriate. So Lord Abido, you're a nurse. You of course you work double shift sometimes. Do you experience this with some of your colleagues that the longer they work at their job, the more they are subjected to these infidelity issues?
One is a little bit tough, but anyway, we're gonna handle it. Working long hours in a job is no way for anything to cause infidelity. Before you married your wife, you know the profession she is in. Some, like we nurses, we work long hours. Some of us work 12-hour shifts, some of us work 8-hour shifts. It depends on where you work. If you know that you are marrying this person in this particular profession, and you know how the profession is, I don't see any reason why, because I work 16 hours or I work 12 hours, that will make you go and start cheating outside. That's not a reason. There must be something that made the person to do that. Some of us women, like I always tell them, I don't shit where I eat, and I don't eat where I shit. Some of us go to work. Instead of, we know we are married. We have young men, even older men in this nursing profession. Why would you leave the work you go to do and start looking at another person? Just like I said before, they must have said one thing or the other to you, and then your head turns off. I have couples that were fired in my job. The man is married, the woman is married. They work the same night shift. From one thing or the other, two married people start messing with themselves.
mm,
The day they are off, or even the day they are not working overtime, the wife will lie to the husband, oh, I'm working over today. Or on their days off, oh, I picked up on overtime on my day off. You get there, she's not going to work. The person you are going out with is a married man, and you are a married woman. You tell all kinds of lies. I was telling Mr. Kabesi, one day something happened. Emergency fell. The man has to get to the wife. She got to the job. They called, they say she's not there. What do
mm,
you mean by my wife is not there? She went to work. Already, the girl and the man and the woman has already rented a hotel where they went to go and have a good time. When you left your husband and the children at home, something happened and your attention is needed immediately. They call your job. The job say you are not there. Where are you?
mm.
If
Yeah.
that thing did not happen, how would the husband know that the wife is messing around, that she's cheating on him? Every day you tell them and you're going. And that's how the marriage ended. The man ended the marriage. But the man that he was messing with you kept his wife.
Wow.
Mm, 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 mm.
You
Yeah,
see, that's what I'm saying. It's not that you are working longer hours and you are distant from your husband. It depends on your individual. When you feel every communication, there's a communication in marriage. Sometimes I say, well, I'm going to tell my husband, I say, hey, let me tell you something, baby. This, you are not, when you married me, you were very, very romantic. And that was one of the things I loved about you. I'm a very romantic person. What is going on? Sometimes he will joke with me, because of the stories they tell about us, is this long hours you are working. I hope you are not, I say, you know me. I've been married with for you with 28 going to 29 years. It can never happen. That's what I said. I can never shit where I eat, and I will not eat where I shit. There's some
that's
of
right.
us women, we
Mhm.
don't understand that. We need to look at things. Let us not be moved by sentiment. Because most of us, let me tell you something, most of us women, about 85 to 90% of us are moved by sentiment. Little things.
Move what?
We
Move
feel,
you.
oh, my husband does not do this for me. Oh, this guy is all over me. He does it for me. He has an intention. And once you missed it, that is it.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Olori. Thank you, Olori. Olori, you can't even say better than that. Mr. Ade, all right.
Yeah.
You're married. You're a
Maybe.
married man, and you love your wife.
Yeah.
She's the best thing.
Yeah.
Can you even tell if your wife is cheating on you? I mean, is there any way you can find out if your wife cheats on you?
Ah, someone, I think someone that a man that you have been with your wife for long, sometimes you can get it. Sometimes you can get it. Yeah, you can, because when people change, somebody that somebody that you are living with, if she change, you can see that this woman have changed. Yeah, because you can you can pretend for short time. You can't pretend for longer time unless the person you are with is not smart. It's not smart person.
Hmm.
When a woman change, I will know that this woman have changed. This woman is not like before. It used to be before. So I'm going to ask, because for me, Kabiesi, for me,
Mhm.
I'm the kind
Yeah.
of woman that I don't trust. I don't trust. I only trust God. I don't trust. No matter how me, I don't trust. I don't trust. I only trust God. Because human being, they can change at any time.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the human being that I am. Mm.
Thank you, Mr. D. Mr. Muniru,
Mr.
Mr.
Ade, Mr. Ade,
Yes.
I
Mr.
get
D.
on you on that, oh. Because that was one time I told my husband, I said, baby, do you love me 100%? Because I know I love you 100%. He said, baby, I love you 99.9. I just kept that small 1% somewhere in case I get hurt one day. Then I'll be able to know what I'll fall back on. I was so mad that day.
Yes. Mr. Muniru,
Yes.
the,
Yes.
all right. Would you spy on your spouse? Would you spy on her if you think she's cheating on you? Would you, I mean, what I mean by spy, like, put something on a phone, pick up a phone and check who she's talking to or who she's chatting with? Would you have gone that far to check or to see if your wife is cheating on you?
No, I don't think that is a best. I don't think that's the best way to deal with the situation. Again, I put a priority on again on the communication. So if you see or you notice a change on the on your wife's behavior, you can just ask her. Ask what's the problem, and then allow her to explain to you the problem, and then you can see if you can solve it. But putting the phone or spying or doing this, even ask for people to like be I don't know how to say it, but that I don't think that's the best way. So so it doesn't matter how relationship is. Please try to talk with her if you see any change, because sometimes people are different way to react. They can just step back, don't say anything, or those who are very reactive, they can tell you exactly right away. I don't like this, I want that, and then from there, okay, okay, this is the case. Okay, now let's fix it. Okay, if you need to do some stuff, okay, if I can do, I can. But if there is something you are not able to do, you're gonna okay. Why now you ask me to do this? You have been living for so long, and now you are changing to this. So what is going on? But
Yeah.
spying doesn't lead us to anything. More problem, more problem.
Yes, yes,
Definitely.
uh, yes. Mr. Doe, there are consequences of cheating on your spouse. I mean, everything one does, there are always consequences for it. And for a man, one of the consequences is that he brings home disease or he gets somebody pregnant outside his home. And of course, the woman is also goes. The woman same thing. She can bring somebody else baby to home. Now, what do you? How do you now say this? How do you now take it as a woman? You know that a man gets a woman pregnant and a woman brings somebody else's baby to the house. How do you define that situation?
Sorry for that laughter. So if I get you right, that for a man to impregnate another woman and bring them home,
I'm sorry.
are you talking about one of the consequences, like for a man to impregnate another woman and bring the woman home?
No. Well, he wouldn't bring her home, but it will be obvious to to his wife that there's another baby outside. Okay, and then in most cases, the woman, of course, and this is even the worst case scenario now because men can still go out there and get somebody pregnant, but when you bring somebody else's baby to your home and your husband doesn't even know that, so that means you are sleeping with somebody else's baby while your wife has somebody's baby in her womb. How do
Hmm.
you define those scenarios?
So, personally, honestly, I don't think it's something I can I can tolerate, right? So I know that most times I'm not excusing for men. It's known that men are polygamous in nature. That's not an excuse for them to go, you know, distributing whatever everywhere, right? But at the same time, if it now leads to having another child outside, you know, definitely that's another family. Whether you like it or not, whether the relationship is legally binding or not, it's another family and polygamy has started. Like I'm in Yoruba, my culture, whether you're married to a man or a woman or not, once they have a child, it's time that they are a member of your family, right? So that's why they say, like, if a man dies, whether they marry or not, they say he did, they start like this from this woman, from that woman. So that means to me, in my culture, the man has already started another family. And I did not subscribe to polygamy when I married my husband. So I don't think it's something I will be able to tolerate. We try as much as possible. There's so many things we can, as women, we can tolerate in a family. Because when it now comes to the issue of having another family, the woman outside or the one inside will start targeting each other. And we will not forget about our culture. We are very spiritual. Before you know, it becomes dangerous. Apart from even the spiritual aspect, it becomes dangerous for the children and the spouse that did not go out there and cheat. And financially, it will definitely affect the family. Okay, we put resources together, I mean, to make a family, and then you are going to have a family out there. Definitely, there's going to be a problem. So it's one thing that can definitely break a home. I personally cannot. It's not something I would accept, and that's why it's important that every woman should be empowered. They should empower themselves so that in case, I mean, we don't pray for such, but you can never predict what can happen in future, no matter
Yes.
how good you are with your spouse. So for me, I won't be able to condone that. My husband having a child out there. So
All right, Mr. Lowe, thank you very much. You didn't touch on the topic of if the woman brings home somebody else's baby, but we're gonna get to
same
that.
thing. Same, it's
Yeah,
even you know
it's
why I did not touch on that? It's
mhm.
because somehow that is alien to my culture. Like
Oh, it's
for
happening though.
me,
It's happening all the time. I mean,
I've never.
there are people bringing illegitimate child home. I mean, what I call bastard kids to homes where the husband doesn't know that. Do you know that
Not, not
if DNA is done to some of
uh,
these kids in someone's home today, some of
madam,
them you
madam.
find out they're not their
okay,
kid.
okay. No, okay, so now I understand you. So you're talking about, okay, they did not like direct the husband or the wife were not aware, right? They just
Yes,
pretended. For example, slept with another man outside, got pregnant, and pretend like the child belongs to the woman, to the
that's
man
my
in the
point.
home.
That's my point.
So
That's my point.
definitely, even the Bible, one of the bases that Jesus himself said you can divorce is adultery. So it's even very, very dangerous. If a woman can cheat on the husband, it's terrible. And then they go ahead, cheat, got pregnant, know that the child does not belong to your husband, and pretend like it belongs to the husband. Definitely, if the man finds out, he can do away with the woman.
Yeah, yeah, and in most cases, Mr. Sorry to cut you off. Most cases, some men don't find out until it's too late. This woman knows the deal. She won't tell her husband who the child father is, and the child will never know who the father is, and this will go on forever. Mr. Dewu, this is another topic entirely. We're gonna get to that later on. Let me get to Oli Abidoyi. Oli Abidoyi, when you and I talked before this program started, about a couple of days ago, you mentioned that the fact that you well, before you work in the airfield, right? There you have to do your tests and all that tests every month, every year, just to make sure that everything is okay. Okay. And that if you ever find out that you will have this or that, God forbid anything happens, that you know your husband is involved. Now, but I have seen women who will give their husband condoms. Okay, they will pack condoms in their bags and tell them to not come back home with this condom. And whenever they are traveling out of maybe out of town, out of country, out of whatever, they will pack condoms and give it to the husbands and say, "Honey, don't come back with this condom because I know you're going to use it." So how do you explain that? Do you condone that kind of habit?
Um, Personally, me, I will not. That's like the discussion I had with you. Every year I go for my annual physicals because I know myself. I know myself. I don't know what is happening on my right hand. I don't know what is happening on my left hand. I cannot say what you I cannot say what you're doing out there because I don't go out with you there. I told my husband, I said, any day and my body does not feel the way it feels, I'm gonna hold you responsible. And if I don't get a good answer, a lot of things is gonna happen. My head will go, your head will go. I told him that I will start killing you softly. Every day I'll cook for you. I will be killing you softly until you die. Because that's what I just said. I know myself. I don't know you. So be very, very careful. Men, like I always say, 85 to 90% of them believe that the variety is the spice of life. I don't know whether they are born with it or not. I don't know. Or whether God created them with it. I don't know. But like I said, I can vet for myself. I can vet for a child I have inside my stomach. But the one on my back, I cannot vet because I don't know whether you reach out your hand and catch and cut an apple. Understand me? So I cannot say, oh, because my husband is going to Nigeria, I will pack condoms and give to him and tell him not to come back with him. You are encouraging him. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm going to tell you as your wife, be careful out there. Women, all these girls are so desperate. They don't even care. That it is you, the man, that will know. Just be out careful. I'm not going to pack condoms and give to you and say, please go home and do whatever you want to do. I'm encouraging you to go there and make mistake. That's a very big mistake on the woman that will do that kind of a thing. The only thing I'm going to tell you as you're going, like I always tell my husband, I'm not going to tell you lies. I use myself as an example. I say, baby, my father always tell me, whatever the eyes or the ear does not hear, the heart will never grieve. So I don't want to know what you're doing there. I will be the last woman that will go to look at my husband's phone. Why am I creating problems for myself? Why do I want to hurt myself? Why on
Yeah,
earth will I want to hurt myself? I'm not going to do that.
yeah,
Just be
I
careful.
yeah.
I
I
don't
just
go
want
out there with you, and I'm not a party. I'm not going to be the person that will encourage you to go out and cheat. Because when you buy a condom and give to your husband and tell your husband not to come back with the condom, you're encouraging him to go out there and do whatever he wants to do. Why would I do that? That
yeah.
makes no sense.
You're right. It doesn't make no sense at all, and I agree with you on that. But I've talked to a couple of ladies that told me that they do that to the husband because they rather let him go do because he's gonna do what he's gonna do anyway. And if she can at least protect himself from this craziness, maybe they will be more safe at home. All right, Mr.
Excuse me, Sir Kabiesi. What makes
Yeah.
you think that he doesn't even has that condom in his bag? What makes you think that he doesn't have that condom in his bag? He might
I,
have it,
well,
doesn't want you to know. Then why then would you want to buy it and encourage it?
well, you're right. And even some men, I went doing this when I was talking to a lady. She said, even the husband now knows that whenever he's coming, even if he doesn't use it, it makes sure that he trashes those condoms, so that it will make him feel like he used them. So it's a win-win and no-win situation for most home because whatever works for your home may not work for somebody else. Okay, but as long as you know your husband, you know your spouse, you know what he can do, well, do what's right for you. Okay, and that's the way I look at it. Mr.
One
Mr.
thing I
Ade,
believe is this
mm,
one small thing. There's a
mm,
thin line between love and hate. And
yeah,
there's a very thin line between losing the trust you
yeah,
have in somebody.
mm,
And those things are the things that can cause you to lose the trust you have in your man or the man has in the wife.
yes. Mr. Ade, we are
King,
about to
King,
round off
King,
very
King.
slow.
Can I say something? Can I say something, King?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
So the woman who gives condom to her husband, what's her own idea? What is she thinking? Because the guy is leaving. She's here by herself. What's she gonna do? Because there is she not encourage this situation. So what's herself gonna do here? What the man gonna give to her? So it is wow, that's a bad idea. That's a very bad idea. Yeah.
I've always said that what works in your home doesn't work for somebody else's home. So you know your spouse, you know him better than anybody else. Do what's right for your home.
Mr. Muniru,
Yeah.
Mr. Muniru,
Yeah.
I want to tell you something. I have a cousin. I have a cousin now. Is passed. He passed now. This my cousin. His wife know him. You know, his wife know him. That is a womanizer. It's a womanizer. Yeah. So his wife used to tell him to always. His wife when he's going out, his wife used to tell him that take care outside, take care when you go outside. Everybody know him because it's very very God the way God created him is somebody very very attractive to women. You know, and the wife know that he's a very good person, but when they come to about women, he's very weak in women this thing. The wife know. and they leave. They were
I will
leaving.
not marry that kind of a man as a
Exactly,
husband. I'm
exactly. That's
sorry.
the point.
Mm.
I don't
Go
care
ahead, go ahead,
whatever
go
you
ahead.
give
Go
me.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
will not because I cannot accommodate that.
Minister, let him finish. Let him finish.
So, so that's the way he is. He is a
Yeah,
very good
well,
man.
yeah,
Very,
and
very
well,
good
look,
person.
everybody has their weak points. Everybody has a weak points, and what you have to do as a spouse is try to work on your spouse's weak point and make him a better person. Some people, some men are weak on women, some women are weak on men. So if you marry somebody because of who he is, well, that's what you get. Mr. Dowu, and now, this is a question for you, man. All right, do you really believe this notion that you only accuse? Hold on for me. Yeah, hold on. I mean, I'm on the program. Do you believe that that when you point one finger at somebody, and that's how that adage in Yoruba land, four others is yours. When
Mhm.
you accuse somebody of infidelity, more than likely you also engage in that act. Also, is that true?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's not completely true. What I always say and always maintain, I do not ever generalize. And when it comes to marriage, one side does not fit all, like you already said. So the fact that if you have a cogent reason, right, you have facts to let you believe that your spouse is cheating on you. You have a proof to believe that your spouse or your partner is cheating on you, and you accuse them or you bring it up, that does not necessarily mean that you're cheating on them. Yeah, it might have happened several times. The fact that it has happened several times does not mean it's happening every time. So several times, many times, often, few times is not every time, no matter what you say. So the fact that somebody accuses, I know there's an adage in Yoruba that I'll say it in Yoruba and interpret it in English. Abẹ́ni lórí kò fẹ́ kó gbédà kọjá orí òun.
Mhm.
So that somebody who is with a sword, like you're always with a sword, you know what to do with a sword. You don't want somebody to just like pass the sword over your head, even though they do not have the intention of using it. And
Mhm.
yes, that may make people to start accusing falsely. There may be false accusation. I'm not negating that fact, but that does not mean if you accuse your spouse of cheating, because like we've said several times, we all know our spouses very well. Any little thing, any little, once a man or a woman starts to go out, you will notice the difference, no matter how little. If you're sensitive, something will give them away. No matter how perfect they
Mhm.
are, something is definitely going to change about them. And you notice that you bring it up and you accuse your spouse, oh, you're doing this. That does not mean you are cheating. I do not agree with that. I don't want to waste your time. I do not agree that every time you accuse somebody, that means you're cheating. No.
No, I never said that every time you accuse somebody. I said that most time, when you always find a reason to defend yourself. Because I know a lady that she said she recorded her husband for 6 years.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, 6 years. She said she did, and all in the open of garden evidences to prove that our husband is cheating.
Hmm.
And if you can do that, doesn't that say that you also have some skeleton in your
That,
cupboard?
that is a dangerous person, I'll say. Like your husband, recording your husband is you. Two becomes one. So most times, men they cheat for desire, for lust, and all that. But women, when they cheat, most times it's for love. The love has shifted, the affection has shifted, the attraction has shifted. They do not, once a woman starts to shift, there's likelihood of like 80 to 90%, if not 100%, that the woman no longer loves the husband. So what that woman was trying to do, she's looking for a way out, an escape from the marriage she's no longer interested in. So that when she brings it up, people will say, oh yeah, actually this woman has every reason to leave this marriage. The man is this, the man is that. Whereas she is also doing something. I'm not saying that for sure. I'm just saying, when a woman starts to do that, gathering evidences against the husband, you're supposed to be supporting your spouse. When you start looking for a way to be against him, that means the love is no longer there. and you're looking for a way to support your argument that, oh, this man is no longer good for me or is cheating on me, so that you can escape a mind that you're no longer interested in. That's the way I personally see it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right on point, and that's the only way I've seen it so far. That if you can take time to record somebody or to find somebody's misdeeds for that long, you're definitely planning your exit out of the marriage. No question about that. All right, we
There's
almost
no
ended the
more
program.
love there.
Yeah, the love is
Yeah.
gone. I mean,
Mhm.
that's the way I've seen it. That's the way the person that told me about this said it also, that that person, she's gone. She's just looking for a way out. Although I'll be doing, all right. I know we cannot solve the issue of infidelity in any marriage anytime soon. Let's not fool ourselves.
Kabiyesi, Kabiyesi,
Sir.
I want to ask something. You know, men and women, we are different. We are very
Mm,
different. You
mm,
see, like my sister just said it right now. You see, when a woman leave a husband and go and sleep with another man, the counting that the love is finished. It's finished. It's the end. It's finished. But we men, we can be flirting outside and we still love our wife.
yeah, that's true.
You know that?
That's true. That's true. It's a fact. So that's why you see that our grandfather they had six wives, seven wives, and they still go out there and do all the crazy stuff. So
When a woman, when a woman, when a woman passes boundary and go outside and flirt with another man, believe me, the marriage is gone. If you the man, you know that, end the marriage, end the marriage, just end the
although
marriage
Davido,
because
I'm going to come back to you,
uh,
please, if you don't mind. Now I know infidelity is not something that can go away anytime soon from homes or any marriages. Do you really believe in your heart that this is an issue that can be resolved or can be solved or can be reduced?
Um, Resolving the issue of infidelity between couples is very intense. It's very hurtful
Sorry.
because the person that is being cheated on, that scar is very difficult to go out there. Like if it's me, anytime I might still, me, I want to keep my home. I don't want anything that will mess up my home because I will look at my children. I'm not ready to be a single parent. I still want my children to have that father figure because father figure in every home is very, very important. There are some certain things somebody will want to do or say to you, but once he knows that there's a man in the house, that person goes back, he retrieves.
Hmm.
You understand me? If a husband cheats on you, one, the trust is no longer there. The emotional pain and suffering is too much. A man, if a woman cheats on, if your wife and you cheat on your husband and the man finds out, it depends on the kind of man. If it be a kind of husband, that marriage is not going to hold anymore. For a woman, you might try to make amends because of the children. But like I said, that trust is broken. And every time I see you, I might forgive you, but I can never forget. Because anytime I see you, it's like the whole thing like a movie. It plays right back in my head. And I will go cold. I will withdraw from you. Infidelity in marriages, it takes a long time for it to at least it doesn't really go down. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It doesn't go
Mm.
down.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have a
Yeah.
friend, very, very, very dear to me. This lady, she is loyal to a fault. But the day she find out that the husband was messing around, I'm gonna tell you now, up till today, that marriage has never been the same. The wound is the cut is so deep. Even if he heals, the scar is always there because when you look, when you see that person, definitely you will remember. Some women stay. I love this man. Let me see if I can try to see if it can work. It might work, but there's always a BUT there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
Thank
always
you.
a BUT.
Yeah, thank you, Oloya Bidoye. Mr. Ade, I want you just to briefly, please, to just buttress what Oloya Bidoye said about can we, excuse me, can we ever get over this issue of infidelity in marriages at all at any point?
If you know, they say the what do you call it? They say the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. For me, if it happen, life goes on. You know the kind of person that you have. You know that this is the way your man. This is the way your man is. You know, I think if you know you know the person, it doesn't come surprise to you again. It doesn't come surprise to you again. Only that you try to women, you are our mother. You are our mother. You give birth to us. I think you can with preaching, talking to the man. I think the man will stop. Eh?
Okay.
And you start to build the future.
Yes.
That's what me I see.
Yes.
So,
Th- th-
can
Because
I jump in?
Yoruba people
Yeah,
said
I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Mr. Du. You'll be the one that round up the whole show today.
Yoruba people
Let
said
me go to Mr. Miniru. Mr. Miniru,
listen.
what's
Hold
your
on,
take on
hold
that?
on, please.
Let me finish.
Yeah,
Yoruba people
fine.
said kò sí tójú òrí mi ò rí irú eléyìí rí à ń fi dẹ́rù bọ́ lọ́rọ̀ ni like olórí I think olórí you understand what I said. Uh, Mr.
Please.
Muniru, what I'm trying to say is that when people will say, "Oh, I haven't seen this thing before. I haven't seen this thing never happened before," it's just to make things worse. You know, everything that happened before, even Prophet David. Prophet David cheat on his wife. So King Solomon and so on. It have happened before. So we can improve. We can improve.
Okay.
And
All
life
right.
is a lesson.
Yes.
Life is a lesson. We learn
Yes.
from
Yes,
our
sir.
mistake.
Yes.
That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ade. Mr. Miniru, I want you to get what's your take on that, sir?
Yeah, I think to say that we're gonna end this infidelity, it is. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna
False, sir.
happen. Never, because as human being, we are changing. We are constantly changing like spinning. Okay, and most time, men want to have different tastes, different this, different that. The physical appearance of for them most of the time, men. But so for me, there's no way we can end this infertility. Maybe minimize it, but how? Think about that. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ade. Mr. Do, you'll be the last take of this morning. What's your take on that, please?
So what I'll say is in Yoruba, I mean in the Bible, Yoruba Bible, it says bó ti wà láti kọ́ ṣe, ó ń bẹ nísinsìnyí, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó sì máa rí ayé àìnípẹ̀kun àmì. What am I saying is never gonna stop. I'm talking about generally. If it's stopping in one family, it's starting in another family. But what I know about marriage is there's no marriage that is not redeemable if there's no violence and infidelity. Violence can be in not only physical violence alone. There are some, yeah, they went, people go astray, like prodigal son, and they come back and realize their mistakes and stuff. But when a man or a woman is not ready to amend their ways and they want to continue, no matter what you do, they are irredeemable. Whether we need a man figure or we need a woman figure, anything that is affect, it begins to affect your mental health. When it affects you psychologically, it shows in your emotion, in your relationship with your children. They are not going to be happy as well. So you are extending the problem in your mind to the children, and that will affect the children's behavior outside. Anything at all that is affecting your sanity as a person is something you should do away with. I value marriage. I've been in it for a very long time, and by God's grace, till death do us apart. But at the same time, I said before, it's not for everybody. If it's not working and it continues to happen, it's not redeemable. It's a time that both parties part so that we don't lose our lives or lose something precious to us in the process of trying to make it work. It has happened to a lot of people that way. So I pray that God will help all of us to understand our spouses better and marriages begin to work the way it was meant to originally.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dowu. Olori Abidoyi, thank you very much. Mr. Ade, as usual, thank you. And Mr. Muniru, thank you. Just like we discussed that, Mr. Olori Abidoyi, when before this program started, that this is not a topic that we can finish in 1 hour. It's almost an hour, 10 minutes, and I can assure you, I have about 20 more questions that I've already prepared, but because of time and constraint, we're not going to do that. But we're definitely going to come back and revisit this topic again, maybe in another version. And next week, if next program, we will talk about the influence of exes in our marriages. What role does ex plays in marriages, either in making marriages better or destroying marriages? But till then, till next week, guys, thank you very much for coming this morning, Mr. Adedoyi,
Thank you.
Mr. Dou,
Thank you.
Mr. Ade, and Mr. Muniru. Thank you very much, and have a blessed Sunday.
And you
Thank
do
you.
the
Thank
same.
you.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Rakabis.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.